Yo,
Welcome back.
how was your weekend?
Ian,
Oh, jeez. These weekends have been hard for you lately.
these weekends have been hard for me lately. This was no different. Yeah, it was hard. Just,
Oh, man.
I don't know. I think it's the stage of life. And it's hard. It's hard. Having two 4-year-olds is tough. And then one of the babies just needs mom all the time. 18 months old, and so just mom puts her down and she starts screaming and there's just nothing that can be done. And we're trying to be, the parents and be like, hey, sometimes you don't get mom, but that just leads to screaming. And so, it's just like, how much do I have in me?
Practical reality of can you actually handle this much screaming?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Who's gonna win here? So yeah, it's how was your weekend?
We had we had a similar thing with our baby, the youngest, for like the first year, 18 months, very attached to Jamie. Not much could be done. Jamie ended up just sleeping in her room with her, and I would take care of the other two at times or whatever, but it works out. They'll get out of it eventually.
They'll get out of it.
Yeah, it was good. So I took my all large preteen to adult age children to Superman. That was my big weekend event.
They remade Superman again.
They did. You don't know about Superman?
They're constantly doing this. Yeah.
I think you would like this one. You should see this one. This is an Aaron Francis. It's got like, Superman. He should be right up your alley. He's like ultra wholesome.
Yeah.
All
Him
American.
And Captain America. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are my guys.
Yeah,
nobility, duty, honor, sacrifice.
Yes. Here's
I want to hear about the movie, but when are we going to make new movies? That's my question. When are we going to stop doing franchises and make new movies? Never?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's not.
Okay. All right.
And this is such an interesting thing with this too, because this just came up. My oldest, we were sitting in the movie theater. He's like, there's nobody here. It's like the opening, third day in or whatever, opening weekend. I was like, the thing is, here's how movies work now. And I actually had a huge opening weekend, tons of money. I was like, in the old days, you had so many movies that like even the big movie would only get like a couple theaters. And so there'd only be so many time slots. So you'd go in there and it would be packed because there was other movies in the other theaters. But now there are no other movies. There's only like Superman.
We do one movie every 3 months. Yes.
Yeah. So Superman's in every theater and there's 16 theaters or whatever in this cinema. So, and they're all 20 minutes apart. So any one theater just doesn't have that many people in it, because there's only one movie and it's just in every time slot.
So is this a reboot?
Yes.
So this is a new Superman, a new actor.
I love that you don't know anything about this.
Man, I don't know anything about anything.
Christopher Reeves. Let me bring you up to speed. It's not Christopher Reeves.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So are you familiar with Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yes, in that it exists in loose structure. Yes.
You've seen it or haven't seen it?
No, I have not seen it.
Oh my God, Aaron, you're literally killing me. You're literally
some may accuse me of doing it for the show, but listen, I've been not seeing movies for a long time.
Oh man, it's a long con you're running on me.
It is, yes.
You're actually a huge movie buff, and you just
exactly.
Yeah, it's a big. You're gonna let me know on our 3rd year anniversary or something.
It's gonna
be
the
like,
big reveal, and it will all have been worth it.
I would think it's worth it, because then I would just love to have like 7 straight episodes where we just dive deep on movies.
Yeah, well, don't get your hopes
people will
up.
love that. All right, I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, but basically this writer-director who did Guardians of the Galaxy has taken over the entire DC universe. He's now the big boss in charge of making DC
this is a long shot.
Suck.
James Gunn.
Yes, James Gunn. Hey. Look at this guy.
See, I'm aware of the universe.
So James Gunn is now the big boss in charge. DC has always sucked, basically. Like,
yes, always been super dark and gritty.
Yes, and which I like dark and gritty, but the problem is dark and gritty and bad I don't like. Yeah. So like the movie's mostly been bad. So he's come in to fix it all. And this is the first movie. He wrote it. He directed it. It's the kickoff movie, presumably, of a bunch of movies.
All right.
So, yes, all new actors. The James Gunn style, which is pretty distinctive compared to most directors. I would say it didn't even have enough James Gunn for me. I could have used more James Gunn.
We needed more Gunn.
Vibe, especially towards the beginning of the movie. I feel like it played it a little more straight. But It was good. I would say it was very good. It's not on my like all-time list, but it's very good. And they did a great job with the Superman music. John Williams' famous score. Have you seen the original Superman movies, Christopher Reeves?
I don't think so.
That seems impossible, man. Anyway,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can't say for sure.
You would probably know the music because the music is super famous. If we played it, but anyway, they updated that, and I like what they did with it. It's like they left it the original music, but with some modern tweaking. Very cool. So yeah, it's a good movie. We had a little funny moment with the wife. We're in the movie theater.
Careful, she listens.
She does listen.
Hi,
I
Jamie.
think she'll be okay with me sharing this. So it's the end of the movie. And the thing they do, I don't know if you're aware of this either, but they have more scenes at the end of the movie.
Post-credits, always.
Post-credits, right? With these superhero movies. Which honestly, just spoiler, my least favorite part of the whole movie, the post-credit scenes were not good. But fine, whatever. So we're waiting. We're waiting for these. And I just elbow my son, the middle kid, and I'm like, Mommy's hating this. And he's like hysterical laughing. She's like on the edge of her seat. Like, she's like, can we leave now? Let's go. We're getting out of here. I'm like, no, we have to wait through all the credits. And, so it's an extra 10 or 15 minutes of sitting there. But
I'm with Jamie. 10 or 15 minutes is crazy. That's crazy.
It is amazing how many people it takes to make a modern digital effect movie. I mean, it's just like person after person.
Yeah.
Like digital artists,
Hundreds
just minutes of scrolling names. Like,
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. But
well, I'm glad it's good. I think the last Superman thing I saw was Ben Affleck's Batman versus Superman. Is that right? Is that real?
That's real. I haven't seen that.
It was
I just couldn't
good.
bring myself to see it. Yeah, I was like, this.
The trailer was awesome.
It
was dark and gritty, which is cool, but then it was bad. Yeah, it was just really bad.
And I like Ben Affleck. I'm a Ben Affleck stan. But...
No, I mean he's great. I think he's great, but him as Batman was sad flick, and it was like I just want to see Christian Bale.
Right. Christian Bale is the best Batman.
All-time greatest Batman.
Yeah. Batman Begins. I actually like Batman Begins even more than Dark Knight, I think, but all of them are very good. And love that. And I even like what's his name? Patterson did this like super dark, kind of more realistic-y one a couple years ago. I don't know if you saw that.
A Batman?
But yeah.
The Twilight guy.
Yeah.
I think, is he also Cedric Diggory in Harry Potter?
Yes, he is.
That was interesting.
It was that one.
It was a good movie, but I still, as far as Batman goes, like Christian Bale. But it was a good movie.
Yes. Yeah. It wasn't.
Yeah, that was
level,
weird.
But I liked that. The end I didn't love the end, but the movie overall I liked it. But anyway, Letterboxd, by the way, we've talked about this a little bit before. The best social network. If you're not on Letterboxd, get on Letterboxd. You can follow me on there. So good. Best social network by far. It's a movie social network. It's great. You see a movie, you put your rating. It's fantastic. People write reviews. I should write reviews, but I don't.
I know John Rudolph Drexler really likes Letterboxd.
He's a movie guy.
He's a movie guy.
He is a movie guy. He is.
Sometime if I get another vasectomy and you need somebody to fill in on the show, you should get John Rudolph Drexler, and y'all can just talk about movies the whole time.
This is actually a fantastic idea. This might have to happen. You can just take a week off.
Some people would really like that.
You don't need a vasectomy. You could just.
I don't know, man. The 2 days in bed, along with the drug experience of like
there you go.
Self-administering whatever it was, laughing gas. That was one of my highlights of the year, to be honest. Got a couple of days off. Got to have a little trip.
Weekend.
Yeah, it was
best weekend of the year was that weekend I had the vasectomy.
Oh man,
boy,
need a little time off.
Sorry, state. You do need some time off.
Yeah, it's not in the cards.
Probably not.
But anyway, welcome back to Barely Technical, which, a lot of people got a problem with the amount of technicality on the show.
We had some haters. We haven't had haters.
What's the deal? We got a drive-by hater. So here's the deal. Listen, you don't have to care about my kids. That's fine. But to go out of your way to create a YouTube account to then come and leave a comment that says we literally don't care about your kids, you have made an enemy for life. I am now your enemy. So I don't know what's going through these people's heads when they come on a show that is free, that has chapters that you can use to skip ahead and leave these comments. I mean, somebody just is not having a great day. But anyway, that's my enemy for life now.
You dug deeper than I did, so I didn't realize it was an actual fake account. It was a newly made account. You think
it was? Here's the insane part.
Mm.
Here's the insane part. They used their real name and easily identifiable, like a profile photo.
Yes, it had a profile
and made a brand new account under their Christian name to come on and say something mean. And I'm like,
that's so
here's part of my calculus. If it's like an anon or a troll, like somebody that I can't tell who it is, just kind of like ignore them, block them if it's on Twitter, whatever. On YouTube, just kind of make a snarky reply or something. Hide them from my channel if it's my channel. But when it's somebody who uses their real name, it's like, okay, do you want to engage here? And also, I don't want people to think that they can get away with just saying mean things. So I'm gonna respond. And so I did. And yeah, it was like, what? Come on, man. What's going through your head here?
It's also weird because it's like, we don't care about your kids, get more technical. But it's like, it feels like, have you ever listened to the show? Because like, we don't really go super technical that often. Like, we've been more technical lately than we have been in a long time.
Yes, so and you and I are both getting complaints from our spouses. It's too technical.
Yes, there you go.
So I don't know.
It's
whatever,
weird,
man.
I'm like, we haven't talked about code in a while, and we've been talking about code a lot in the last month or two. So I don't know. It's very weird.
Yeah, but perks of being online. God, there's got to be a better way.
Let me tell you, it might have been this morning. I popped over to Twitter just to I was on the Mostly Technical account because I don't have my account there anymore. But whatever, Mostly Technical, I retweet and like people, whatever, keep the interaction up with the fans. And that account doesn't follow anybody except for you, me, and producer Dave. Like, there's it doesn't follow us. So it's like generic-y feed, right? And it is freaking insane, man.
It's rough out there.
It is insane. And it's not totally generic because it's like bootstrapper stuff and tech stuff. So it's like, it's figured out, like, what it should be based on, I guess, our posts or whatever. And I'm like, it is just crazy. It's like, here's how I lost 72 pounds in 24 hours. And like, here's a post from Aaron Francis. And then here's like, some other insane thing. And then it's like, oh, Adam Wathan posts something. And then it's like some other.
Here's a street fight.
Yeah, it's freaking crazy. And then another thing I've really realized as I've been working on outro, this really hit me hard this weekend. So I was working on outro and coding some stuff. And I was like, not being on Twitter is like a huge level up. Like a huge level up. Because seeing the constant, forget the like beheadings, all that, whatever. That stuff just makes you feel bad about the world. But whatever.
Just forget the beheadings, forget the murders. Like, that's not even what I'm talking about.
Forget Mecha Hitler and the crazy Hitler grok, whatever. Okay, let's just put all that stuff aside. Just the getting fed, the like everybody doing their awesome stuff, and you being like, can I really do stuff that awesome? I don't know. And even though most of the time they don't even ship the thing that they think is awesome or they're claiming is awesome, whatever, right? They're not shipping shit. But it's just like the constant barrage of, look at the awesome thing, look at how much money I made in 3 minutes with no work, look at all that stuff, just being exposed to all that stuff. It really hit me this weekend that like, not being exposed to that, I feel like it's helped me so much in how much work I've got done on outro, because I'm just doing the shit I want to do.
You're just doing work.
I'm just doing work, and I'm not worried about who's interested in it. I'm not worried about what they think about it. I'm not worried about like, I'm not being exposed to these people I don't even care about, being like, I'm doing this amazing thing that looks awesome, and
people are saying,
sucks.
Ian, why are you doing this? You know that this already exists.
Right,
I can piece this together. Yeah.
It's like, no, I don't have any of that. It's like so great. Like,
what's it like on the other side? That sounds
good,
nice.
Man.
That sounds really, really nice.
You gotta upgrade your filters.
No, my filters are tuned. My filters are finely tuned. I wouldn't dare wander into a generic feed, but I still feel that. It's like, hey, this new AI thing came out and now you're an idiot and it can do it in 4 seconds. It's like, oh shoot. And I'm like, nah, it's probably not true. And then I scroll and it's like, hey, this new AI thing came. Oh, God, are you kidding me? Yeah, no, I feel that a lot. I tweeted yesterday that what a great decision it was, in my opinion, to start the newsletter, because it feels nice, right? It just feels good to me. Is it, driving business results? I don't know. But the weekly newsletter feels great. And somebody responded and was like, So what do you think? Like, what was the impetus? What do you think? Like, why did you do it? And I thought about it. I thought that's a very good question.
Right.
I thought long term, this was my response. Long term, I don't think, at least the current incarnation of social media is congruent with how I want to live my life.
Yeah.
So I think at some point, and it will just, frankly, it'll just be a money thing. When I have enough
Right.
money, or enough,
Right.
like, not even enough money, but maybe like enough income. So like the marketing channels are figured out, everything's working such that I don't need Twitter. I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna log off. I'm probably
Right.
gonna retreat, because it's just not like, when I think about what do I want to look back on my life having done, it's not spend a lot of time on Twitter,
Right. That's not, yeah.
but it serves a dual need right now, and the dual need is business and friends. And so part of the newsletter is to try to get some of those friend relationships shifted over to a slower medium that I prefer.
Right. Yeah, where they can just shoot you back an email when they have some
Yeah.
commentary or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the conversations have gone to Telegram. So like I have a lot of DMs going on Telegram. Some of them have moved to email, which is great. So I think this is my long migration out of up to the moment social media, I think is my problem.
I do think there is a way, because I definitely am sensitive to the fact of like, for me, it's easy. I've never made any money on Twitter. Like,
Right.
there's no money aspect at all. There's only like, interacting with people I know, and that's pretty much
fighting
it.
with people
And
you don't.
fighting people I don't know, and feeling bad about yourself and all that stuff. So like, there's no like, oh, if I stop doing this, that's going to take my income down 25%, because of course that would be much harder, right? So, but I do wonder if for you there is actually a play that's similar, which is like, because I feel like a lot of those successful accounts on Twitter, they're not actually doing a lot of interacting. Like,
no, they're not.
Right? So it's like, can you release yourself from actually the sort of daily Twitter? Can you reap the benefits of not that negative energy and feeling bad about yourself and all those things it does? That increases your productivity and the quality of what you produce. You're just then on Twitter to be like, here's what I did. I'm not interacting with maybe you stay in the comments on that post or whatever, right? But it's like, this is what I'm doing, 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 right? This is what these other people, not everybody, but a lot of the successful people are like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing, right? Like, they're not like in the streets on anything else. They're like, this is what I'm doing, all right? And that's it. And you have a big enough following where like, when you say this is what I'm doing, like people interact with it and stuff. And so I still think you're going to get that. Like, there could be still the upside, not like abandoning it totally where you don't post to it, but it's like the posting is much more strategic, and your use is just strategic, and there's less of the like habit side of it.
Yeah, that's probably a good medium. What I don't want to do is go to a fully write-only account where it's like, I'm, James Clear or Naval or, Sahil Bloom.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm saying that's exactly the people I'm thinking about.
No, those are the people I don't want to be. And I don't know if that's I don't know if I'm being too precious about it, but like let me queue up 100, like, a little bit vapid, pithy, philosophical sayings, and then just like drip them out, over the next, month, and then never respond to anyone, and just kind of be like, I'm here on the mountaintop with my wisdom. It's like, I don't want to do that.
But maybe that's just, that is how it has to be. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think if I reach that point, that will count as logging off to me. That would be my log off. That would be my, I don't even, I'm saying, that frankly, that
there? Can you get there quicker? You know
that would be, my, like, I don't even have the client. I don't even have the Twitter. I don't even log into Twitter. I just have an API where I just write something. I go into Buffer and write stuff, and when it goes out, and that's fine.
I mean, I think that would be the way to do it. I mean,
that would be a log off for sure.
You could do like, it's off your phone. It's only on desktop. Like, when you're working, you might check in on it sometimes to like, because for what you did post, you do want to interact with those people commenting or whatever. I think that's all seems reasonable, but that's different than like, you're using it, you're interacting, you're fighting with the trolls, you're reading the stuff that makes you sad. Like, all that stuff is, if you're more focused on just, this is what I'm up to, or thoughts I have about things, this is what I'm posting. I reply to those posts and people who comment on them, but that's kind of where I'm leaving it. I mean, I
Yeah.
think there's a reason those guys do that, right? Like, and there's
Yeah,
that's
they made it. They're out.
but
They've
that's a little
exited the
different.
Matrix.
It's a little different than the like totally vapid stuff, right? Like it's not that you would just be posting, here's my thought, you know, it's that guy Nabil or whatever who's always like, it's always
Yes.
one sentence, you know, deep
Mhm.
thoughts or whatever. I don't think that's your game. But your
That's
game
not
is like,
my game.
here's the courses I'm doing. Here's the video I just did. Here's the interesting interview I just did, right? This is your game.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that you post. And that's it. I think there's
Yeah,
a way
I
you
could-
could
I
do
could
it,
see that.
potentially.
I think there is.
Potentially.
I think there is, and I think it's something that will be explored sooner than later,
Yeah.
frankly. Yeah, if I had any guts whatsoever, I would have hit the 50,000 mark and then just immediately deleted my account. You know, but I was too scared.
Yeah, I don't think it makes sense for you to delete. Like, whatever. The tech
No.
people are still there. You got to sell to them. I don't think you need to delete. I think it could be reshaped potentially.
I think so.
You know, try to eliminate more of the bad side.
It's all bad. Tell us about outro. Give us some outro updates.
Oh, outro update.
Yeah.
All right, this ties in with one of the other things I had written down. So this weekend on outro,
Okay.
first of all, you sent me into a tailspin last week. This is the Aaron Francis tool of podcast production because you have all the good ideas. You have very good ideas. So
Great ideas. Great ideas.
you got me on the to-dos, right? Kind of to-dos / scheduled emails, which are sort
Okay.
of the same thing in outro now. But then I had to go a step further because I'm like, well, really? Like there's
Yeah, you
things you want to do before. There's things you want to do before the podcast, and there's things you want to do
Sure.
after the podcast. So now you
Naturally.
got the pre-production and the post-production, right? And there's
Mhm.
to-dos for both, and there's scheduled emails for both. Although I haven't
Got it.
totally built the scheduled email thing yet, but very basic. But like, hey, I can schedule these emails to go out for this interview or this thing, or maybe there's always an email that goes out to a press release person or whatever. Who knows? So yeah, so now there's email scheduling, there's to-dos, there's a central to-do page to see all your to-dos across shows, which are grouped by the show. If you have
I love
multiple
it.
shows.
This is scope explosion. They talk about scope creep. We left scope creep
Way
miles
back.
back. This is great.
Thing
I love
is-
it.
It's crazy. I love that I'm embracing the complete insanity. It's like it's just going to do everything, and that's what it's going to be.
I love that
and-
someone else on the show is finally insane. It's not just me. So yes, this is up my alley. Carry on.
But I still feel like I've kept my this was always the core idea was I was going to do way too much, but I'm still holding true to my ideas. So I don't want to do the hosting and I don't want to do the recording. So I still think that there's good reasons to not do those, and that's still my plan. So no
agree.
hosting, no recording, but everything else is fair game. So now I got 2 apps. Here's the other thing that I added. So I added an on-air mode. So like you have your list. So you go into an episode and there's like your pre-production stuff and the show rundown of the topics and everything. And then there's a post-production. And I have this little thing that shows you like use little AI stuff to show you things you talked about last episode, as well as arcs from the past like couple months of the show. So you
Love
can like
it.
see the bigger arcs of what you've been talking about just to kind of keep that in your head. But I was like, that's kind of a lot of stuff when you're actually recording the show. So now there's like an on-air mode. So the on-air mode just shows you just the topics, the rundown. And I was like, you know what this needs? You know what this needs? This needs next to the rundown, live chat. So that the host and the producers can just, because there's times like behind the scenes, I've sent you something quick, especially if you have a guest, you want to ask this, I'm asking that, like whatever, little coordination where you're not stopping the show, you're just live chatting about it. So now there's a little, that's not totally done yet, but there's a little live chat thing there. So it's like while we're on air, if we need to go back and forth, we can do that. Now Riverside does have that, to be fair, but not everybody's.
But not everyone uses Riverside.
Yes, and so this way it's there. It's super. I mean, I'm already using Pusher, so it's like not like a lot of work. It's like just make a presence channel and put posts in it, whatever. So I don't know. We'll see what people use and what they don't use. It's going way over the top. It's way over the top.
So when do we get to start using it?
So I'm so annoyed. So I got off on to do stuff and I didn't get to finish my member posting stuff. So I still haven't posted till hundreds of people who signed up to hear more. So they're just having to listen on the show, which is fine. They're listeners for the most part. But
sorry, y'all. That's half my fault. Yeah.
It's coming. It's Aaron's fault. He keeps coming up with the good ideas. But
half.
Maybe by next week we will get I'll be able to get the basic emailing up and get the members going. But yeah, I still like it. I don't know. I'm so like, I don't know if anybody's gonna use this. It's like I've never built anything like this before. That's just like literally, I will not be shocked if nobody uses this, but then I also wouldn't be shocked if people do use it. Um, I'm also going about this is a different way I'm going about things. What do you think about this? I mean, it's kind of inherent in what we've been talking about, but like I'm just building everything, right? And so, it's going to be a little overkill for people who
Yeah.
run their shows like us, where it's a little, we got a list of things, but it's kind of it. It's like we don't have a whole bunch of other post production. We don't have a bunch of other stuff. But I'm kind of going, I'm like, we're going to go too far. And then maybe there's like ways to simplify it, or we default some things to off or whatever, potentially. I don't know. Like we can simplify it for simpler use cases and like the free version and things like that. But I've never really done. I start with let's do it simpler, but we're going not
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the idea of like a light mode,
Yeah.
LITE mode, where if you don't need all the tools, they're not presented to you. I personally love a bunch of settings. I love a settings panel. I love to go in and turn stuff on and change the numbers from 4 to 8, and I just love settings. I have come to understand that very smart product people will say that every setting is a failure of UX or design. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. I love settings. I love reading manuals too, so maybe I'm an outlier. Yeah, but I don't know how you like progressively disclose that there's more and more power available. And maybe it's a tiers thing. Maybe the free tier just doesn't have the stuff.
Right. I think that's part of it for sure, right? There is like the inherent like, oh, the free tier doesn't get this and that. And there's like little ways that you see you could be doing this stuff, but you don't get it unless you pay. And I am a settings man too. And if you really look at most successful apps, they almost always have tons of settings.
Oh God, I love settings.
So there is something inherent to me about that too. Like there are the occasional things where that's not true, but for the most part, that is true. You're blinking in and out of existence.
I know.
Are you okay over there?
I know. My I don't know if it's my capture card or what, but I'm still here. The camera just keeps disappearing.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you have an on-air mode, maybe just like show chat, hide chat is easy enough to like just make it go away if you don't need it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I say build it all and figure it out later.
That's kind of where I'm going. So yeah. Kind of related to our arc we've been on of Codex and Claude Code. Last week, I really dug into Claude Code, and somebody turned me on to the best practices doc, which gives you very important information in a single sentence that's extremely important. That I don't know why they don't plaster it everywhere. But if you don't tell it to think hard or think harder or ultra think,
I saw that ultra think.
Then it doesn't really, it's much worse. But if you tell it to do those things, it's much better. So you just have to tell it to think hard. Like think hard is like the lowest level, and you must do think hard basically. And then I often will just do ultra think. I moved up to the $200 plan. I'm just like, use all the credits. I don't care. Ultra think your way through everything. And it does a lot better. It's a lot better with the ultra
think. This is the stupidest timeline that we have to tell the super intelligent beings. You have, can you think about this one for me? Like, no, really, like think about it. But yeah, it actually does. It does make a difference. So last week you were pretty down on Claude. You're like, I tried it once, you threw up my hands. So stupid. I want to walk away. So now that you know how to make it think, what are we thinking?
So now I'm a big Claude guy.
Claude guy.
Now
we get them all eventually.
Yeah, you'll see how big a Claude guy I am in a second here. But what really turned me on to it too was I'm redoing the HelpSpot website. And again, because I don't really like how, whatever, I took a way out swing with it and it was too far out. So now we're dialing it back in with some different ideas, whatever. I like where it's going. I clean slated it with Claude Code. I was like, let me just try clean slate. It did a good job with like the first pass on it. And I was like, this is cool. So now, I rebuilt big chunk of it with Claude Code, did a very good job for the most part. And definitely for like that type of thing where I'm like interacting back and forth directly a lot, like Claude Code is definitely better than Codex, because Codex is like your whatever, you don't see, it's off doing stuff for like 10 minutes, right? So that was good. And being in your native environment is nice. It's definitely nice than having to like set up a new environment and keep that working the same way your local environment works, just like another environment, whatever, especially your PHP, which they don't handle natively, blah, blah, blah. So I'm liking the Claude Code. We're trying to Claude Code with the Userscape developers on HelpSpot.
Okay.
Now just this morning we had our Claude Code call. They're going to get the $200 plans, spend lots of money on AI now. They're going to try the Claude Code. And so we're going deeper on the Claude Code. For the outro stuff, I still like Codex because I like that it's like, hey, it's bedtime. I'm going to tell it to go do some stuff. Hey, I'm walking out the door. I'm going to tell it to go do some stuff. So like for the side project, like go off and code stuff. And I'm not going to be here to watch you. That's great. But for the work stuff and HelpSpot, it's like whatever. The developers are there working on it all day long. Like, so the interactive model, I think, is better for that. So I'm in all the AIs. I'm in all the AIs.
You're a big AI guy.
What do you think about this thing? There was a study. It's like you think you're 20% more productive, but actually you're 20% less productive. What do you think?
I thought it was interesting. I thought there were only 16 people in the study, which is not very many people. I think each person did, 10 to 20 tasks or something. Right. And so I've been told that it is statistically sound. I don't know enough to say. I can't say that I'm terribly surprised. I think,
interesting.
Yeah, I think, and the reason, so the study says, the programmers self-reported they were 20% faster. The data shows they were 20% slower. So it's then just baseline, which is pretty bad. That doesn't terribly surprise me. I think because I've used it. I've used it. And it's easy. I think it's easy, one, to get distracted, right? So Claude Code is thinking and you're like, well, let me just pop over to, Twitter, or like, let me go, make a coffee or something. So the down times I think can end up being longer. Something that I have observed but not really found myself doing is like the doom loop, where it's like, no, fix it. No, fix it. No, fix it. And so I don't know if any of these, study participants got caught in the doom loop. But if you get caught in the doom loop, you're going to waste a ton of time versus just like reading it and writing it yourself and be like, okay, I'm just going to go do this part, kill this conversation and start over. So I don't know. I'm not terribly surprised. I think we may be at peak AI hype right now.
Interesting.
I think I've seen a couple stories come out where companies are walking back some of their generative AI implementations. They are hiring and or rehiring people to come clean up some of the mess it made, some of the promises of, frontline customer support, that sort of thing, are starting to fall pretty flat after implementation. And I am by no means an AI doomer or skeptic. I use it all day, every day, and I love it. But I think the promises have been greatly oversold. And there are a ton of promises, but the ones that were being sold are not quite accurate.
Interesting. It's not the take I thought you might have. On the second half.
I want to hear your take, but before I do that, I want to pay some bills.
Do it.
So I want to hear your take on AI. But folks, you're going to have to listen to some beautiful, wonderful sponsors in the middle. Brought to you, as always, by Bento, the email service provider that I use for this wonderful newsletter that I've been telling you about. Bento is the delightful, simply refreshing, delightful, you know it, you love it. It's bentonow.com, used by me for both marketing and transactional emails. So check them out at bentonow.com. And also brought to you by Laravel Nightwatch. Nightwatch sees what other monitoring apps can't in Laravel applications. Take 2 minutes to set up the free plan right now before this episode of Mostly Technical is done. You can uncover rogue queries, misconfigured middleware hiding in plain sight, or the dreaded N+1 query. Check them out at nightwatch.laravel.com. Thank you to Bento and Nightwatch for sponsoring.
Bento, corporate sponsor now of Tailwind CSS.
I saw that
homepage.
I saw that.
I like it.
He knows he knows what he's doing. He has good taste.
Doing the branding. The small businesses, you can still brand.
You can
get out there.
So the study.
Yes.
What's your take?
I thought it was total BS. I'm not. I'm on the total BS train. Total BS train.
A clean take from Ian.
Yeah.
No
I think it's
nuance
measuring
needed.
the wrong thing is my take on it.
What did it measure and what should it measure?
So what it seemed to be measuring was, well, first of all, it's like, a very specialized programmer doing a very specialized task, because it was like the
Okay.
open source maintainers and working on their open source project, which I get. I don't know. In the real world, I feel like, at least I'm taking this from the small business perspective, a little less
Okay.
so than from big corporate cog programmer who's like responsible for a single class, right? And they know that
Yeah.
class, they dream about the class, like that's all they do. Maybe it's more applicable to them. But which is fine. Like, okay, fix this bug. Maybe you were slightly slower fixing the bug with the AI than without it. I mean, that's probably even potentially accurate, but it's like when you're focused down so narrowly, but you're
Mhm.
missing the little bit broader picture, like the forest for the trees and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Because the part that's amazing to me is all the times where like you're working on something and all the files it builds for you, and you didn't have to manually build those 10 files. Like there's so feature development, things like that. There's
Mhm.
like the writer's block. I mean, the number one thing for me is the writer's block, like where I would have gone off and done something else and not even come back to this thing that day. But
Yeah.
instead, I send the A off to do it. And I come back half an hour later, and now all the worst parts are done. And yeah, it didn't do it perfect, and I
Yep.
have to tweak them. But now I am now still working on it, when before I would have been, it would have been zero work getting done.
Right.
And now there is
Yes.
work getting done. It's a massive 100% increase, right, in work. So from the small company bootstrapper, you're doing a lot of things without a lot of time. There's no way this is accurate. Now, again, that's not what they were measuring. So, but I think so. My beef is more with the idea of like people just taking this number and be like, look, see, all you developers are stupid because it's not
Right.
making you any money. It's not saving any time. It's clearly wrong, in my opinion, on that picture. Or like we have other, like whatever, we have our back office tool at Userscape, which is like our store. We're not like always in the store, so like we don't remember how stuff works or what it's doing in there. So like, yeah, the AI is going to remember, because you can just ask it, hey, how does this thing work? And it's going to tell you how
Mhm.
that thing works, right? And then you can go adjust it or do whatever. So massive potential for increased productivity there, I think. But also not eliminating the people. So this is where we definitely agree on that, I think, is like, you are now the ringleader of these awesome group of monkeys who can go out and do stuff for you. But we still need your human brain to figure out what
Yeah.
they should be doing and all that kind of stuff. And if they're doing a good job and where they're not doing a good job, for you to step in, all that kind of stuff. So
I think it has the ability to make senior engineers a lot faster. And I think it also has the ability to make beginners a lot slower.
potentially, when you go
And
down those paths,
yeah, I think like, I don't want to be in the self-reported I'm fast category, because that's what all these people in the study were. But I certainly feel that, right? I feel like I'm a
yeah,
lot faster with this. But I think one of the reasons I am faster is because I can say, like, I can give it better guidelines and say,
right,
do this thing this way. Laravel has these methods, use them. And then when it comes back and it's like, hey, I implemented this, thing in this crazy way, I'm like, no, that's wrong. Like,
right,
here's the docs page, go look at that and fix it. And it's like, oh wow, you're absolutely right. And
yeah,
I think a lot of that just relies on the knowledge that we've accumulated over whatever 20 years.
yeah.
So I don't know, I think I'm still going to use it. I still believe I'm faster, but I don't know that that is true for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, there's just stuff that's like, I mean, this weekend I think I did a Blue Sky post about this, where it's like I told Codex to do something while I left my house, and it did it, and I came back and it was perfect, and I just merged it in.
Yeah.
200 lines of code. So like, I mean, 200 lines of code would have taken me hours or an
Yep.
hour, right? I mean, it's 200 lines of code. Like it was 10 files or whatever it was. Like, it's a lot of code, and it was not even like a new thing. It was like a going into existing stuff, moving things around. It's like you have to sit and think about this stuff, right? So like
Yep.
so it went from, I wrote 3 paragraphs, which took me under 5 minutes, and it wrote 200 lines of code that I used perfectly. So I don't know, and like, yeah, the learning. I mean, the learning is always. I mean, I don't know. I'm a little torn on the learning. I think you still need to be getting the baseline education, but I also think there's like this big upside of like, if you don't have somebody to ask, now you have somebody to ask, which
Totally.
is beneficial, right? And also web development's gotten so complicated. Like, it's not like you
100%.
just have to learn this one
Yep.
framework and this one database, and now you're good. Like, you got
Yep.
it all. No, as you're going to be doing with the database course, right? Like, what does database even mean? You're going to have 10 databases, and anybody building anything is going to use at least 3 of them probably.
Yeah.
So already you have this huge additional amount of knowledge you need. You're never going to be an expert in any of that stuff. So I think there will be this dance of like, I buy Aaron Francis courses to learn so I can get that baseline.
Yes.
But then I still need help above that.
Totally agree.
Because
Yeah.
I'm not going to remember everything in the course. And like what all this stuff, right, is going to, in the real world, I'm hitting this weird thing that's obviously a course doesn't cover, right? And like, so there's still that whole world of stuff that when you're learning that I think it's still pretty beneficial for. So yeah, I don't know. But I had a lot of concerns before this AI really started taking off about how were people even going to learn to do this stuff, because it's so complicated now.
Yeah,
it's very
that's true.
discouraging to learn. You know what I mean? Because it's like, well, it's not like the old days where you just like copy, look at the source. And I mean, you can't even look at the source now. It's like, oh, it's some stupid Next.js thing, and it's a single line, and it's full of shit. You know what I mean? Like, you can't see it in there. So
agreed on all counts.
All right. So, you know, it's actually pretty hard to even get started. So I don't know. I still kind of feel like net it'll be a win. But yeah, there is issues.
I still think there's
sure.
value in the human reading the documentation, reading books, taking courses. I still think all of that is valuable because you have to fill up your brain with like the map of the territory, because you don't even really know what to ask or how, like what to prompt it to do. And the argument is always like, well, just give it 5 minutes and the AI will be better and you won't even have to explain it clearly. And I'm just not convinced that that's ever going to be the eventuality, that you can use like really imprecise language and barely describe what you want and it's going to spit out perfect code that takes all the edge cases into account. I don't know. So I think the baseline is still very important. Now, is the baseline of what we need to know moving up? Like maybe we don't need to know some of the stuff we used to need to know, but there is still a baseline. Right. And so what that new baseline is of, knowledge that the average web developer needs is maybe an open question, but there is still a baseline. You can't just get away with, prompting only.
I don't think so. Not for like a real application. I know everybody's out there vibe code and everything, but I still feel like you have to know how to guide it. If you want to make something that's like reliable and maintainable and all that stuff. What do you think about the Aaron Francis course platform? Could that have some AI-ness to it? Like, so I could talk to your courses, right? And like, especially as you get more of the different platforms in there, like across them or even things like that, taking the transcript, you're already doing that stuff. Like, I think there's some interesting stuff there, potentially all your interviews.
Yes. So that is going to happen.
Ooh, yeah.
So I think two things that the platform needs before October 15th, which is the release of the intro to Postgres course. One is in-browser playground, so that you can you can write queries against a data set that I provide. Right. So you can watch the video, and if you're like, actually I prefer to play with it, well, there's a little not IDE, a little editor, a Monaco editor or something right below it, where you can start typing some queries. So that's one. I think that is necessary.
Sounds tricky.
I think it will be an interesting thing to implement in terms of like how I get hundreds of databases that live for a few minutes only, and there are plenty of options there. But I think another thing, and some of the feedback I've gotten is like, I love your videos. Is there a way to practice? Do you have like a capstone, project that I could download and complete? And I'm like, that's a pretty good question. No, is the answer. And then the other thing I think it needs is, I do think it needs an AI chat. And the way that I'm thinking about this is, feeding in the transcripts up until the video that they're on. Right. So telling the AI like, hey, here's everything that they presumably have learned so far. Here is the schema of, the playground that's like right next to it. That's all your context. Your job is to help this person learn Postgres or whatever, whatever that prompt may be. But yes, I think there needs to be a little box where people can say like, hey, Aaron said, XYZ, I don't know what that means. What does that mean? And it has that context to say, oh, in that
Yep.
video, when he said that, he meant this.
Yep.
So I think those are two things that can help. It's not like longevity, but it's like, I'm as as the future of education zigs, I'm trying to zig with it. A lot of times I'll zag. I'm not trying to zag this one.
Yeah.
I just want to zig when they zig.
Yeah.
And so I think this makes it more compelling instead of just like saying, well, if nobody needs courses, I'll use AI. It's like, well, hey, my course has AI. How does that strike you?
Yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah.
I like that. And it makes it much more interactive and engaging potentially, rather than like you're not just watching the videos. It's like I imagine you could also tie in stuff like as it gets more sophisticated, like we're going to do these 10 practice questions. The AI can like help you if you get stuck and check the output and like do all that kind of stuff. I was even thinking more along the lines. I like that idea for sure. Just even as like a bigger thing across all your stuff with the maybe even other things like could you then do a series of interviews like you've done these interviews with like the creators of the database platforms or whatever, right? But like doing that, but like getting down into like really technical stuff that now this will all live in your AI. So it's like now you have the insights into all kinds of stuff. And as that builds up, and then you can obviously do this across all the platforms. And then this becomes like the basis of like maybe a subscription product. Cause it's like, well, you get access to like the database school AI, which is like super trained on all this database stuff, blah, 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 blah. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. And these are the types of things that I think I can do focusing on database school. These types of things don't make sense when I'm doing like, random one-off courses on any technology that interests me, which would be so fun. I would love to do that. Yeah. But I think the business dictates that I focus on databases, and now that affords me this freedom to like go deep on that sort of stuff. Because I'm not like turning around to do the next course on, whatever. So yeah, I think I'll get there at some point.
Should we do some more business first? Let's do some business, and then you had a couple interesting things this week I want to talk about. But first, let's do some sponsorships from Forward MX, who've been sponsoring us quite a bit lately. Thank you very much. An email forwarding service, great for side projects. Collect all of your emails for your different domains in a central inbox like your Gmail, and reply from your domains using our SMTP functionality. Check them out at forwardmx.net. I like a good .net. And also Flare by Spotsy, all-in-one error tracking and performance monitoring for your Laravel application. Check that out at flareapp.io/performance-monitoring or just flareapp.io. Thanks to those guys for sponsoring Spotsy. I think I'm saying that right? Spotsy.
You are.
It's always
a
little tricky.
Spotsy. Yep.
Spotsy. Love Spotsy. Those guys, incredible. Yes, Aaron Francis. So I started getting these emails from Aaron Francis.
Great guy.
He's messaging me. He's like, hey, I got a deal for you. I got Postgres offers.
Just for
I got
you.
all this stuff.
Yeah.
Just for me. You got the time. So what's going on with this? This is a new thing, a new game in your playbook I've not seen before.
It's called marketing, Ian. Whoa! Yeah, something I learned. Nobody knows of it.
Marketing.
Nobody's ever heard of it. Nobody's done it. Everyone is saying, Aaron, you're very smart. It's working.
That's even better.
Sending the emails. Turns out when you tell people that you have something that they can buy, a portion of them will buy it.
Look at this guy.
I know. I don't want to pretend like I invented it, but I did. I invented marketing.
Wow.
So I am a genius. However,
obviously,
Kelsey did all of this.
You.
But I'm the boss,
her.
so I get all the credit,
right?
Yes,
of course. Is that where someday?
Credit, none of the blame.
Maybe she'll be the boss someday, then she can take.
Oh, she'll be the
right
boss.
now. You're taking the credit.
She'll be the boss for sure. She's kind of the boss already. Yes. So we set up a big email campaign that's like to people that haven't purchased. They're on the list. They haven't purchased. Value, sell, and it worked. It did great. Like, wow. Yes, very, very encouraging to see that there are still things we can do to move the needle. So yeah, the sales in the past 2 weeks have been very encouraging. I think it's a combo of sending all those emails and doing a lot more regular YouTube videos, which we need to save for next week, the YouTube, because I had lunch with a very smart guy who's very into YouTube. And I think I need to change my whole strategy, but we got to talk about that.
Man, okay,
we got to talk about that next week.
That's
yeah,
start of the episode stuff. Yeah,
that's a lot. Add it to outro.fm, but
yes,
yeah,
hopefully by next week.
Emails work. It just freaking works. So we'll add this as a regular. I'm trying. There's like part of me that has to get over what I would want and what is good for the business. Like if I am getting 3 or 4 emails that are like, hey, you signed up for this, but you didn't buy it. I'm like, yeah, I didn't buy it. You're right. That's why I didn't buy it. I think it just like makes sense that if people sign up, they're interested. And if they don't want to hear about it, they can unsubscribe. Yeah. Like there's a link at the bottom to unsubscribe. And if you already bought it, we're not sending you an email. So it's like, what are these people on the list for? Like what good are they? What good are they to me if not to market to them to buy the thing? So yeah. And one mental buffer I have is I have no idea how many people are on the list. I have no idea how many people have unsubscribed as a result of this campaign.
Right.
I do not care.
Yeah.
Don't care.
That's not the metric. That's not the metric.
I'm not gathering freeloaders just to have a bigger number, which in fact, a bigger number means I just pay more. Like, why do I need a big email list that I'm paying to carry around, if not to market to them?
Well, why do you think I'm trying to get email lists into Outro? Okay. This is where all the money is. Just people collecting people on the email list somewhere is cash money. Yep. Genius stuff.
I know. So yes, it's working. Hopefully you were not annoyed, but Ian, if you were annoyed, that's not my problem.
I got the unsub button right there.
You've got the unsubscribe button and you could just click it.
Well, I thought it was interesting is more than you sending the email, which is a thing you have done. You're really leaning into what everybody says works. It's just offer a discount. Hey, limited time discounting. You want this 20% off. If you buy it now, you don't buy it now, it's not 20% off.
Yep.
It works.
Turns out.
I like it.
Tale as old as time.
Give people
love
an offer they can't
discount.
refuse.
They
it's
love
right from
a
the
discount.
Godfather. It's from
it's
the
my favorite
Godfather.
movie.
Literally.
Yes. Yeah.
Literally. You got to make him an offer they can't refuse. That's how you get business done.
And a lot of people did not refuse it, and it went great.
Fascinating.
They're still rolling in. I'm looking at Slack right now. They're still rolling in this morning. Wow. And you know what's kind of fun is I'll see these prices come through, and I'm like, because it just shows in Slack, Stripe charge succeeded $188.30. And I look at that and I think, I have no idea what that person bought.
Right.
Like, I don't know if they bought a database course on sale. I don't know if they bought a screencasting thing. It's just nice to have business where it's like, it's, it's one of those things where it's, I feel like I'm, I was at step 1. I am now at step 2. There's 100 more steps to go, but I'm at step 2 where I'm like, I have enough products and we're running enough sales and enough, discounts where no idea. Could be anything. It's nice.
It's nice. I do enjoy that myself. We do that with HelpSpot and Lara Jobs and whatever. It's like stuff comes in. It's like, oh, money's coming in. Look at that. It's a nice little vibe there.
It is.
How do you think, so do you think the change in the business has affected this? Has this motivated you to get going on some of these things that you wouldn't have tried before? You think that was put a little fire under you?
I think it lit a little fire under me. I think not only in downside protection, but also in potential upside, right? So like now there's only one person responsible. Obviously, Kelsey is very good at what she does, but she's not responsible for the business. Right. There's one person responsible and there's only me basically to blame. So I can only blame myself for if things are hard or bad or if I'm poor. And that's like the psychological concept of diffuse responsibility is like when everybody's standing around looking at someone who's struggling, they're like, oh, surely someone would help. And it's like, well, you could be that person. But when there's only one person, when it's just you, it's like, well, I guess I have to do this. So yeah, there's definitely a big part of that where it's like, you just got to do the thing, man. I think I'm like I think I am in some ways not cut out for the business that I'm running, and in
Right.
some ways would be like much better as a professor somewhere.
Ooh,
Uh,
I like this.
which is potentially on the 5-year
Sure.
vision board.
Mm.
Because like I don't know, all I really want to do is learn things and teach people things that I think are interesting. And yet here I am being like, hey, you guys want to buy some stuff? What do you want? I got a bunch of stuff. What do you want to buy? So there's
But
for some regard, I've been thrust into this position, and I'm having to I think one of the big things is I'm having to observe what the market wants instead of just assuming everybody's like me.
right.
And that is like, that's a little bit challenging, because for me, what I want is like, I want to watch a video course that's super in depth, but a lot of people are like, hey, I want to practice. I'm like, oh, that's
Right.
interesting. That's not something that
Yeah.
that I super care about. So it's hard to like balance what is the market dictating versus and where do I bend that way versus what is my unique point of view / my taste / the thing that only I can do, and where do I where do I be stubborn on that. And so like trying to figure out which ones to give to the market and which ones to be stubborn because it's like the thing that makes me is
Yeah.
kind of a tough question.
Yeah, there's a lot there. One little side thing about that, kind of related to what we were just talking about with you doing an AI bot sort of thing.
Yeah.
Is that like from me? So there's the customer, Aaron Francis, who just wants to watch a video. Then there's a customer that wants to practice. There's the customer like me, which I want to buy the course. I'm not going to watch this course. I'm not going to watch most of it, but I am going to surgically go in there when there's a part of it I need. Like this is how I use Laracast. Like I love Laracast.
Totally. Yeah.
I've never made it through a whole Laracast course, I don't think. But I go in there and I'm like, video 17 of the Eloquent course, that's got the thing I need in it, right? So that's where it's like when you were saying with the AI, I'm going to not let it go past the ones you watched. I want it to go past the ones I watched because I want to be able to ask it anything,
right?
And it'd be like, here's the answer from the course. Here's the video. You can go watch it so you can get all the details on it.
Yep.
Like I don't want it to be limited to what I'm never gonna watch it all, but I will need some of that information potentially that is buried in there. So yes, but I think that's interesting. Great.
So maybe there's that's good to know. So maybe there's like a second, like maybe the on-page AI bot it has knowledge up to the video that you're on,
right?
But there's a secondary like chat with the course kind of thing or something.
Thing.
Yeah, the whole thing. That's a good idea.
But yeah, that's a very good insight there. I think of like
we're growing, we're learning
a lot. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know if Professor Aaron Francis might need to come up with a little more cash for first. But
yes.
But after that,
he would truly.
But yeah, no, I think this is like growing as a business person, right, is enabling you to do the thing you love. Like this is what's going to enable you to teach more people the things you want to teach them, right? Like that's ultimately the goal. And along the way, you're going to be taking care of your family and doing the things you want to do and all that stuff. But I do think that is a big switch in every like founder's path. Is this like these are things I have to do sometimes to get to where I want to go, and they're not going to be fun, or I may feel uncomfortable or whatever. And maybe you get to a point where you can say no to those things again because like, I don't care about making more money. I make enough money, and I'm going to not do these things I don't want to do because I don't have to do them anymore. But but you're not there yet. So for now, it's like, oh, the market is telling me I got to do this. That's what I'm going to do, even if it's different than my inclination might be or my hunch was.
Even if it offends my delicate sensibilities, I will send you a bunch of emails.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's the email game. I feel like, especially with courses, any one-time purchase stuff, I feel like it's pretty, like this is a thing. Like, it's like, we're going to bombard you with email a couple times a year. We're going to Black Friday you. We're going to Amazon Day you. We're going to come up with one more time a year. And like 3 times a year, everybody who hasn't bought is just going to get 5 or 6 emails about how they need to buy. And again, I think you just got to flip that on its head a little bit and be like, it's not you bothering them. They signed up for this because they were interested in this.
Yes.
They have forgotten about it because everybody's very busy. And now you are remotivating them that like, hey, you wanted to learn Postgres. You probably still need to. And if you don't, great, you ignore it or you unsubscribe.
Yes,
or whatever.
I'm sorry. You typed in your email address and hit
Exactly.
subscribe.
Like, you didn't like
sorry.
build a scraper and you're like, oh, I scraped
Yes.
a million devs' names off the internet, and now I'm like, which I mean, listen, this is another
If
thing.
you know how to do that, give me a call.
I mean, that they are very successful with it. Like there's a few Laravel consultancies I'm thinking of where like the guy's like, this one guy, I went on his podcast, he's like, you don't like scrape and like cold email everybody. I was like, I just can't be bothered. I don't know. He's like, this is how we get all our business. Like he's like, this is all we do. It's like we just cold email people and we get hundreds of thousands of dollars, engagements from cold emailing people about Laravel gigs. And I'm like, that isn't wild. Yeah. So
what is on the spectrum? What is the opposite of shameless? Like what is on this side? Shameful. I need to move a little bit towards shameless.
Yeah.
I'm a little heavy on the shameful side.
Right. Yeah. A little shameless. I think you have to be to sell effectively. Yeah. Which is not something I'm super good at either, for sure. Like, and that's where like SEO, when that was a thing in the world, was great because it's like people just come in. I don't have to like my only shameless plugging is on my website. You came here to see the shameless plugging. But it's not true anymore. That's why we're doing some more advertisements and other things. Like this is what the world wants or requires. It's what we'll do. But yeah, so
gotta put food on the family.
That's what the kids do.
As George W. Bush would say, working hard to put food on your family. Should we do one more? Should we do Telegram before we go?
Let's do Telegram.
All right. You saw it. You saw the video.
I don't know if
you logged in. It's mostly technical. You looked around. You saw the video, right?
Yeah, I saw the video. You have some crazy Rube Goldberg machine.
Pejorative. Okay, yes. First of all. All right. So here's the situation. I've got this Mac Studio, right? That's just ripping through FFmpeg stuff. This is all in pursuit of getting this new home for Aaron Francis launched. The new AaronFrancis.com, which will do a better job of sort of like acting as an entity instead of just like a personal like little side website, right? Part of that process is pulling down podcasts that I've been on, including mostly technical, where I pull it down off of YouTube. So the Mac Studio uses YTDLP, which rips it off of YouTube, unless you're the law enforcement listening, in which case it doesn't do that at all. So it pulls it off of YouTube and then it, encodes it and puts it onto Cloudflare R2. Love Cloudflare. Y'all go buy the stock.
Do it.
Then one of the other things it does is it sends it off to 11 Labs to do the transcription, which is just somehow flawless. It's unbelievably good. And part of what 11 Labs does is it diarizes it. So it identifies speakers, right? So the transcript will come back and it'll say speaker 0 said, good morning. Speaker 1 said, hey, Ian, how's it going? Speaker 0, and it just like does that for an hour, right? Yeah. I'm putting these transcripts on my website, and and this includes like Database School. This includes every guest episode I've ever been on. This is just a lot of great context and content for who Aaron Francis is. So that belongs on AaronFrancis.com. I got to identify these speakers because it would be royally embarrassing to ship it with speaker 0 and speaker 1. Like, come on. What am I, an idiot? No, that's not the try hard way. So the problem is, like, I have to give these people names. And so what I have done is I find the longest paragraph that, each speaker has spoken. So as I pull down the transcript and I do a little cleanup because it's a wonky JSON format, as I'm doing that, I figure out what's the longest paragraph that each speaker spoke. And I take that, and it comes with timestamps from 11. So I take that and I put it off into this little holding table that's like, hey, this transcript has these 2 speakers. Here's the text, and here's the start and end times of each speaker. Then another process wakes up and takes the audio. This is great. No, this is good. It takes stuff. The audio from the podcast. So the audio and the video have been split. They both live on Cloudflare. It pulls the audio down, and it uses FFmpeg to chop out that paragraph that I identified, right?
Yeah.
Speaker 0 said, it was talking about a slip and slide from minute 1 to 3, right?
You're not doing every paragraph though. This is
No,
just
no,
you're
no.
just
Just
doing one for the longest one.
I just needed a long chunk of text.
Baseline, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it pulls down the audio, slices out that chunk of text. So I have now like I think I maxed it out at like a 10 or 20 second clip, right?
Okay.
So now I have a 10 or 20 second MP3 clip.
Yeah.
Right? This is good.
Right.
No, this is normal. This is good.
It's normal stuff.
And then what it does, so like now it's in the database, right? What am I going to do? I'm not going to log into Table Plus every day and be like, oh, okay, well, let me like see. Oh, let me go find that
would be
file
crazy.
and hit play. What a stupid person that would be. So instead, it sends me a message through Telegram. It sends me a message through Telegram with the MP3 attached and the text of the clip. So if I just know, if it's like, hey, Ian, how we doing this morning?
It's
I can just
obvious,
yeah. So it sends me the MP3, the text, and then 2 buttons. One says Ian, one says Aaron, because those are, the podcasts I'm on, mostly is you and me. And then I can hit those buttons and it will mark in the database that Ian or Aaron said it, and it will transfer that back to the transcript. If I'm on a guest podcast or we have a guest on this podcast, I can just hit, hold down the message and hit reply, right? So in Telegram, you can reply to an individual message versus just like put a piece of text in the chat. So if I reply to that individual message with the name like Caleb Porzio, that was a guest we've had on a bunch of times, so I did that a bunch this weekend. Caleb Porzio. Then in the database, it'll say, all right, I noticed you didn't hit either of the buttons. Instead, I got this reply. That is the speaker's name. And now on the website, it just says, Aaron, Ian, Caleb, Aaron, Ian, Caleb, and it looks beautiful. And it's like, I'm not tethered to the process. It's nothing. I don't have to check anything else. I get a message. I have it on my computer. I get a message that's like, hey, who said this? And I look at it and I said, oh, Ian said that. Boom, done. And so now I can like finish this podcast. Producer Dave's going to edit it. It's going to go live tomorrow. My process will pick up the fact that there's a new podcast. It'll pull it down. It'll get the video, strip the audio, find the speakers, and send me a message. So I'll be at lunch tomorrow, and I'll get a telegram that said, who said this? And I'll say, I remember that was yesterday. That one was Ian. It's beautiful.
That's pretty cool.
Amazing.
That's pretty cool.
See,
I don't
it's pretty
agree
cool
with your crazy little things you do here, but I do love, first of all, that you're refocusing your crazy little offshoots into business productivity. Like this is like a fun little side adventure, but useful for what it's directionally correct with where you're going.
Correct.
And I like that now there's going to be a database of stuff I've said that I could potentially access, labeled as Ian, which will be cool. And I mean, how was the Telegram API to build with?
Incredibly
not
good.
Too bad, right?
No, super good.
Did they have a
and you don't
SDK, or like how did that work?
I'm just using.
Do
there's a Laravel package called Telegraph. That is a little bit light on documentation, but it's very, very, very good in terms of like its affordances. So I've been using that. Had to build, just a little scaffolding around it. But one of the other things that's very exciting about this is I now have a way to interact with this machine, like this website, right?
Yeah,
and
that's gonna be crazy.
Now the Telegram API or the Telegram like experience is really great because you can attach buttons, right? You can attach buttons to messages, you can attach quizzes, and you can so it's very feature rich media in terms of instead of just like SMS where you'd reply with like 1 for Ian, 2 for Aaron. I can just like hit a button. And then another super nice thing is my process after the question has been responded to, the Laravel application will delete that question out of the Telegram chat. So if I get
it's just gone.
Yeah, if I get like 8 questions from different processes, I don't have to think like, did I answer this one? Because like once I answer it, that question is gone. And it's really, really nice in that way that I don't have to like scroll up and be like, oh shoot, I didn't ever answer that one.
Do you think this could be a Kelsey thing, it feels like to me a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I could put her in this chat and she could do that. But
are you going to pipe other things in through this, you think? Okay.
So one of the other things, and that's why I spent so much time for this one particular use case is
Mhm.
now I have the pipeline where the computer can do as much as it can possibly do and ask me
Mm.
for just like one little bit of information it doesn't have, and then go back to doing what it can do, which is a
Yeah.
lot.
Right.
And like, for example, one of the things is I have this other system where it logs into Twitter and grabs all my bookmarks for me. And this is
Mm.
in pursuit of building out the newsletter much faster, right?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so one of the things that that process needs from time to time is for me to log into Twitter.
Right.
And so now what it can do is when it notices that I'm not logged in, it can kill itself and then send me a message that says, "Hey, you're not logged in. I need you to log in. Let me know when you're ready." This is what the message says. Like,
Mm.
let me know when you're ready. And I can click a button. All right, I'm at my computer, or like I'm,
Yeah.
in a place where I have a few minutes. I'm ready. And it will send me a link that is a live browser session running on BrowserBase. So I click the button and it opens up and it's like the Twitter login page on,
Right.
browserbase.com/live debug/UUID. And
Browser-based.
I can log in to Twitter in this little, debugging browser window that I'm seeing.
Mhm.
And then over in Telegram, I can hit the button that says I'm logged in. And then Telegram sends that message off to Laravel, and Laravel says, "Great, we'll pick the process back up. Thanks for doing that." And so it's getting to this point where it's like I'm trying to build as many automated systems around me as I can, and there's always some human intervention required. And I don't want to build a UI for it because who has the time? But I also
Right.
want it to be push and not pull. Like I want it to come to me and say,
Right.
"I need you to do this really quick." And I'll be like, "Oh, sure, that's fine." So yeah.
That's interesting. So now I guess you're having to do it that way because you can't use a Twitter API, right?
Oh God, no. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? No.
Correct. Why would they have an API? That would be
Why would they
insane.
have an API? Yeah.
Browser-based. I did not know about this.
Yeah, it's pretty
Everybody.
good.
Vercel. Is there even a website? Like, I feel like I have to put Vercel on the outro homepage. Like, there's not a website
Oh
launched
yeah.
without a Vercel logo, right? You can just put the Vercel logo. It doesn't
They'll
matter
never
if they
know.
actually use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is interesting though.
BrowserBase is good.
OpenAI, I think, has something that's sort of in preview, but it's like not API based or whatever yet. It's kind of weird.
The thing I
assume
love
this is like go ahead.
the thing I love about BrowserBase, they have a few AI tools which I'm sure are quite good. I'm not terribly interested in them. The thing I love about BrowserBase is I can use any browser automation library. So in this case, I'm using Playwright, which is that Node one that's quite good. I'm
Mhm.
using Playwright, but the browser that I'm controlling is on BrowserBase's infrastructure. So like
Right.
I'm not trying to set up a local Chrome and make sure that like all the ports are correct. It's just
Yeah.
like, give me a browser out there. Now, the other nice thing is I can keep, they call it context, but it's basically like a Chrome profile. So I can say, like, just on the Laravel side, I can say like, "Hey, BrowserBase, I'm just going to use your HTTP API. Forget the browser. I'm just going to use an HTTP API, and I'm going to create a new context." And then every time I need a browser that has to like go in to Twitter as me, we're going to use this same context such that when I log in, I stay logged in for as long as humanly possible until
Right.
Twitter's like, "Hey, you got to relog in." So having those like contexts in the cloud is
Mm.
really, really nice because I'm not constantly getting hit with like, "Hey, you're running a private browser, please log in." It's like, no, this
Right.
is has all the cookies from the last session.
Yeah,
You know
that's
who I
cool.
am.
Yep.
And just a word of warning to the dear listener, I do not automate logging into Twitter with my own Aaron D. Francis account. That terrifies me. So what I do is I have a secondary account.
Mm.
And in Twitter, you can delegate access to another account. So like Kelsey
Really?
can log into
Huh.
Twitter as me.
I did not
This
know that.
other account, this shadow account, can also log into Twitter as me. So it's
Okay.
like a social media team feature, right? So
Right.
if
Yeah.
Naval Ravikant wants to tweet some pithy phrase like writing is thinking, he's not going
Sure.
to do that. Somebody's going to log in as him.
Yeah.
And so what I do is I log in as the shadow account, and then I go to the account switcher and I say act as Aaron D. Francis, and then it puts me in the like social media manager mode for Aaron
Yep.
D. Francis because I don't want to accidentally get my main account banned.
Yeah, you don't want any weird, "Oh, this was automating," and,
No.
yeah. That would be unfun. Unfortunate.
Yes, the professorhood would hit me a lot sooner than I'm ready for.
So that's fascinating. So wait, aren't you using their AI stuff to like scrape the page and get the bookmark tweets, or no?
Nope.
Or you just
Nope.
you just have it take
Just
the whole
pure
page?
Playwright. Yeah. So
Huh.
Twitter is interesting because it uses GraphQL. And so all I have to do is set up an interceptor in Playwright that's like, hey, listen for any GraphQL calls. And the response is all JSON. So it's super clean. Like I'm not like mucking around in this, reactified HTML.
Yeah. Okay.
So I set up a listener that's like, listen for GraphQL calls. And then I know the last bookmark that I have in the database.
Right.
And so I send over, hey, here's the last one that I have in the database. I actually send over the Twitter Snowflake ID, which is like a sortable, time-stamped, like globally unique ID.
Yep.
And so then I just say, here's the last Snowflake that I have. Start scrolling the page. Just scroll the page, and each time it scrolls, it's firing off GraphQL requests that I'm intercepting. And if it ever finds a Snowflake ID less than or equal to the last one I sent, I know that I have now captured whatever is new. And all it does is it gathers those unique IDs and sends them back to the Laravel application. And then I have another process that comes by later to like get all the details for each tweet.
Feel like you gotta launch. Forget all this other stuff.
No, Ian.
Creator Man Web Pages Inc. Creator Man Web Pages.
Good name. It's a good name.
Web Pages. They do all this stuff. We automate your transcription of your podcast and your Twitter bookmarks, all that stuff. Like this is like a whole thing. It's a whole constructed system here.
I know. There's something in here, and I don't know if it's Creator Man Web Pages Inc., but there's something in here where it's like there's you can get a lot out of building personal software. So like now I have this basically I have this container, like I have this entity, this being where I can say like I need to do this, or I need to automate this, or I need to like, process this. I have a place. Like I have a place where I can just go and it can just work into the system, and it's the activation energy or like the overwhelm of, hey, I have a new thing that needs to be automated. God freaking, am I going to set up a whole new application and get it deployed? And like, no, I'm just going to like write a new command in this thing that I already have. This is like my life OS. It just functions as aaronfrancis.com. But I have this place where I can put all of this stuff that makes my life better. So I think there's something really valuable in like having that like personal manager application that like just does a bunch of random stuff.
Yeah. I feel like this is like, you're obviously just ahead of the curve, but that this is the curve that like OpenAI is on, right? It's like you're going to feed everything into it, right? All your tweets, every time you're on a podcast, it's going to probably just detect it, right? Like anything that's out there is going to suck it all in. You can privately send it stuff, whatever. You'll just know everything about everything. And then you can just have it spit it back out to you in different ways. And the AI is part, it's not even like the AI is the whole part. It's like AI is part of that, but it's also just like data and storage and retrieval and like all those things. It's going to be kind of interesting.
It is. Yep. And so another thing, and I did an early incarnation of this a long time ago, so I haven't rebuilt it into this one. I can send voice memos through Telegram. And so like I can take a voice memo on my iPhone and then just message it to Telegram, and the Laravel app can ingest that and transcribe it and turn it into like the stub of an article, for example. And so building, like investing this kind of in this, like it's almost like scaffolding around myself to be able to do a bunch more stuff. I think is gonna prove very valuable. And this is also the way that I'll be, transcoding and transcribing courses. So like I have to build these processes, because what used to happen was Steve would handle all of that, right? I'd ship a video over the wall and he would handle like all the HLSing and the uploading and and it's like, no, okay, well, I can't do it. Steve's not here. What if the computers did it instead?
I'd love to, only partially related to that. Like you being on your own now, I feel like has clarified a lot of things. Like everything is Aaron Francis. Aaron Francis is the center of the universe. We pipe everything into Aaron Francis, right? Like all the data is about Aaron Francis. It's piped to aaronfrancis.com. It's everything's Aaron Francis. And maybe in the future you have helpers, but they're still now within the orb of Aaron Francis. It's
Yeah.
like, yes, Aaron Francis is the orb and we are hanging off or injecting into or whatever. But like, it's so clear that like everything should be in and around the Aaron Francis brand. And there's not even like the stretching of like, this other person's involved and they need to, it's weird to maybe take it away from them to put it in the Aaron Francis because it's literally called Aaron Francis, which is weird. And like, now it's not weird. Now it's just you, and it all works together much more seamlessly, it feels like. I like that. We're getting there.
We're getting there, you know?
I feel like we're getting there.
Sure would be easier if it was easier, but we're getting there.
It's never easy. If it was easy, everybody else would do it. That's the thing.
Boy, I keep telling myself that. Like, whenever I feel like an idiot, I'm like, you know, this is how smart people become smart, is they learn things, and that is of minimal comfort, but it is of some comfort.
It doesn't really go away either. You always have these doubts, like it's just trade-offs. And like, I mean, there's this friend of mine who's coming to town and he's like, does well, but he's like 9 to 5, you know? And it's like, man, like maybe I should have done 9 to 5. Like, you know, the stuff I've given up, I'm working nights. I'm still working on the weekends, right? I'm building the thing on the weekends. Guy's not working the weekends, you know what I mean? It's like golfing or doing whatever. And obviously there's been other trade-offs. So I've gone to Europe for 3 months at a time and stuff like that. Like I wouldn't have been able to do or whatever. So there's trade-offs, but yeah, you never know. It's always like, there's if this is the life we've chosen, as they say in the movies. And there are things you have to do to make it work. And yeah, you're getting there. You're getting there. We're seeing the growth.
Yes, it is a bouncy graph, but the trajectory, the best fit line is up and to the right.
I think so.
We're getting there.
I like it. All right, we're leaving it there. Up and to the right. Maybe that'll be the name of this episode. Who knows? All right. Thanks everybody for listening. Check us out, mostlytechnical.com. I literally can't wait till I have a tool that just has what I'm supposed to say right here. But mostlytechnical.com has got all the stuff you need. Sponsor the show. We got some other new sponsors coming up next month, but there's still room. So sponsor the show. Tell your friends. Leave a comment. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. We will see you next week. Talk to you later.
See ya.